Hello everyone, welcome back to English 2. So this week we'll be talking about cohesion and coherence in academic writing. So what we'll be discussing in this video, the first is what is cohesion and coherence? And next one, why should your writing be cohesive and coherent? And next one we'll be discussing the types of cohesive devices. And the last one we'll be talking about adjective clause. Now let's start with the definition of cohesion and coherence. So what it means by cohesion is that clauses or sentences in a text are linked or connected together in a logical or clear manner. It means from one sentence to other sentences should be linked together, they should be unified. And usually we can notice that the clauses or the sentences are linked or connected together by looking at the cohesive devices, which we will be talking in a few moments. While coherence means that the ideas presented in the text are relevant. It means the text is going to be meaningful if it is coherent. Let's take an example if we are talking about a paragraph. So if a paragraph got a main idea, then it means so the supporting ideas should support the main idea. So all the ideas here or all the sentences here should be related to the main idea. If one of the sentences or the ideas of the supporting arguments is not related to the main idea, then this paragraph is not going to be coherent. Next one, let's talk about the significance of cohesion and coherence. So, why your writing should be cohesive and coherent? The first one is to produce an effective writing. So, what it means by effective writing is that you will make a writing that is concise and meaningful. Jadi padat, singkat, tetapi berarti, ya, something like that. That's what we call as an effective writing. And another function or significance of cohesion and coherence is to help readers understand your writing more easily. Yeah, of course, if let's say if you are using cohesive devices, and then it will be easier for us to understand our writing. And also, if your sentence is coherent, then your readers will understand the overall meaning of the writing more easily. A paragraph that lacks of cohesion and coherence. Let's have a look at this example. There are a number of advantages of using e-commerce. People do not have to go out to buy and sell things. There will be cost reductions. Online stores are always open for business. You can attract people who would normally pick up a product in stores if the outlet were open. No one can buy during a site crash. Okay, what do you think? Do you think that this paragraph is coherent and cohesive? Okay, let's check. So the topic sentence here is that there are a number of advantages of using e-commerce. Okay, and the second sentence is that people do not have to go out to buy and sell things. So actually, the second sentence really supports the main topic. And what about the second sentence? There will be cost reduction. The second sentence still support the main argument. But do you think that this paragraph is easy to understand? Well, we can make this paragraph easier to understand by adding some cohesive devices. Let's look at, for example, here, because this is one of the advantages. So we can say here, first, okay, first. So because it says there are a number of advantages. And the second one, you can add here, second. And next one, online stores are always open for business, so this is also one of the advantages. So you can say here third, you can attract people who would normally pick up a product. Yeah, this is also a supporting argument. You can say furthermore. Okay, and the last one, no one can buy during a site crash. It seems that this idea is not related or is not supporting the main idea here because it's talking about disadvantages. So it's better if you delete this idea or you omit this idea to make it cohesive and coherent. Okay, so if you try to reread this paragraph, there are a number of advantages of using e-commerce. First, yeah, what is the first advantage? And second, the second advantage, and the third, and also furthermore, yeah, this is also a cohesive device that you use to connect the previous sentence to the next sentence. Okay, so if you keep the last sentence here in this paragraph is not going to be coherent. Yeah, but if you try to omit this sentence, yeah, this last sentence, your paragraph sounds coherent and cohesive. Okay, so that's the example of a paragraph that is cohesive and coherent. Okay, let's talk about cohesive devices that we have just talked a little bit in the previous paragraph. So the words or expressions that are used to join two ideas or two parts of a sentence or two different sentences or a number of sentences in a paragraph thematically and meaningfully are called cohesive devices. So that's cohesive devices. Yeah, so devices is like the tool, ya. Jadi alat atau kalau bahasa literalnya alat, tapi in this context it's words, ya. Jadi kata atau ungkapan-ungkapan yang digunakan untuk menggabungkan dua ide atau dua bagian dari kalimat atau dua kalimat, ya, atau beberapa kalimat bahkan, ya, dalam sebuah paragraf, ya, sehingga paragraf itu akan menjadi mempunyai tema dan mempunyai arti, ya. Itu yang disebut cohesive devices. Cohesive devices sometimes are called linking words, ya. So these are other names of cohesive devices: linkers, connectors, discourse markers, and transitional words, ya. So these terms are all the same. Now let's look at the list of cohesive devices, yeah. So these are some common cohesive devices that you can apply or that you can use in your writing. So the list of the cohesive devices here are divided based on the category or based on the function, yeah. So what is the function of the cohesive devices? Let's say, for example, to add ideas or addition. So to add ideas, you can use and, also, besides, in addition to, and etc. For example, he is good at coding. Also, he is a kind person. So this is the example of the cohesive devices that functions as addition. What about if you want to contrast your idea? Yeah. So let's say, for example, the first idea is contradictive with the next idea in your paragraph. So you can use despite, but, however, yet, still, though, and etc. For example, the students of 10 failed the test. However, he never gave up. Yeah. So you can see the contrast or the contradictive idea of these two sentences. Next one, if you want to make a choice in the ideas, so you can use the device or either or, neither nor. Let's, for example, either apple or banana is good for me. Yeah, it's one. This is also the example of cohesive device. Next one, if you want to tell the readers about the effect or the result of the ideas, then you can use consequently, therefore, thus, and so that. Let's say, for example, she came late to the class so that the teacher was angry. Ya, jadi dia datang kelas sehingga datang terlambat sehingga gurunya marah. Yeah, let's talk about other functions of cohesive devices. That is to tell about the cause, the reasons, and the consequence. Ya, jadi sebagai apa alasan atau penyebab atau konsekuensi. So usually we can use because, as, since, and for. So these all devices have the same meaning, yaitu karena in bahasa Indonesia, ya. For example, since COVID-19 still exists, yeah, not many outdoor activities can be done. Yeah, so since it's the same as because. Yeah. Next one, the category with time. You can use after, then before, at last, finally, till at first. Yeah, you can read the example. And then to tell the similarity, so if you've got ideas that are similar and then you want to connect them in a paragraph, then you can use similarly or likewise. Say, for example, scientists conducted research on the illness. Similarly, the doctor investigated the cause of the illness. Exemplification, yeah, if you want to give an example for your idea, yeah, you want to give more details about the ideas that you are talking about, then you can use the devices such as, for example, for instance, such as, and particularly. Uh, there are many benefits of e-commerce. For example, okay, so you can use the device, for example, to connect this idea to the next idea. And for clarification, you can say, in other words, ya, dengan kata lain, there are still many challenges of today's human being. So if you want to clarify what you mean by this idea, you can use other ideas by starting with, in other words. Yeah. And the next one is the emphasis. The emphasis is to emphasize ideas. So if you want to emphasize your idea, so you can start writing. So you can use in fact, obviously, or certainly, and etc. For example, many people prefer coffee to tea. Yeah, if you want to emphasize this idea, so you can say, in fact, kenyataannya coffee are sold everywhere. Okay, so those are some examples of cohesive devices. Now let's talk about adjective clauses. Yeah. So an adjective clause is also known as a relative clause. Yeah. So another name of adjective clause is relative clause. Yeah. It's a type of dependent clause again. Yeah. Last week we talked about noun clause. It's also a dependent clause, and adjective clause also is a dependent clause that works to describe a noun in a sentence. Jadi ini sama juga seperti noun clause. Kalau noun clause itu berarti clause yang berfungsi sebagai kata benda. Sekarang bahwa adjective clause itu adalah clause yang berfungsi sebagai kata sifat. Nah, kata sifat itu biasanya fungsinya adalah mendeskripsikan noun in a sentence, ya, dalam mendeskripsikan atau memberikan keterangan tambahan ya pada sebuah kata benda dalam sebuah kalimat. It functions as an adjective, yeah, even though it is made up of a group of words instead of just one word. In the case of an adjective clause, all the words work together to modify the noun or pronoun. Ya, seperti yang saya sebutkan tadi. Let's say, for example, here, and this guy says, I can remember the time when there were no computers. Yeah. So which one is the noun here that is modified or that is given additional explanation? It's gonna be the time. Yeah. So this is the noun that is explained by adjective clause. So which one is the adjective clause? The adjective clause is when there were no computers. So this is the noun clause. So you can actually just stop here. I can remember the time. Okay, full stop. But if you want to let the readers or let other people know what you mean by the time, I mean, if someone's questioning which time, and then you add with other explanation, the time when there were no computers. Yeah, so when there were no computers, modify this one. Yeah, so that's what we call as an adjective clauses. Let's look at the examples of adjective clauses in detail. So again, adjective clauses begin with a relative pronoun, ya, kata ganti benda yang berfungsi sebagai penghubung, ya, which connects them to the word they describe. For example, we've got death, ya, where, when, who, whom, whose, which, and why. Death here means in bahasa Indonesia yang, ya, where, when, di mana, kapan, atau ketika, something like that. Ya, who, siapa, whom, who, sorry, it's the same as that. Yang juga, ya, whom juga yang, ya, whose yang, ya, and which, ya. So these are the relative pronouns. Let's look at the examples to make it more easier to understand. The wine that vintners produce in Tuscany is not cheap. Yeah. So actually, the noun here that is given other explanation is the wine. Yeah. So actually, we can identify that the noun here is the wine. So if you try to omit the vintners produce in Tuscany, if you try to take out this clause from the sentence it still has meaning. Yeah, let's say for example, the wine is not cheap, but you want to add some more explanation about the wine that you are talking about. Then you will say the wine that vintners produce in Tuscany is not cheap. Yeah, so this noun clause modify the wine. Yeah, this one modify this one. Another example, where with where. This is the place where I live. Yeah, this is the place. What kind of place? So you add adjective clause. Yeah, you add another clause that functions to give or modify the place. Ya, inilah tempat, tempat yang apa, gitu ya? Tempat di mana saya tinggal. Jadi tempat di mana saya tinggal ini memberikan keterangan tambahan ke place ini. Ya. With when, I can remember the time. Which time? The time when the cell phones didn't exist. So again, this gives modification to this noun. Yeah. People who are smart. Yeah. This is the noun clause again. Yeah. People. So who are smart modifies people. Yeah. People, orang mengikuti aturan. Orang-orang yang mana? Orang-orang yang smart. Okay. Whom? There is the inventor whom I admire a lot. There is the inventor. Ya, itu adalah inventor. Inventor yang seperti apa? Inventor yang saya kagumi, ya, yang saya sangat kagumi. Again ya, bahwa ini menjelaskan atau memberikan keterangan tambahan ke inventor. Next one, whose Charlie has a friend whose daughter lives in California. Ya, a friend. Charlie mempunyai teman. Teman yang seperti apa? Jadi ada keterangan tambahannya. Ini noun clause-nya. Sorry, adjective clause ya, adjective clause. Ini juga tadi adjective clause. Sorry. Ya, next one, which chocolate? Coklat yang seperti apa? Yang banyak orang kagumi is fattening, gitu ya. Why? With why ya? The reason why Sandra went to law school is that she didn't want to be a doctor. The reason, so ini adjective clause-nya ini memodify the reason ya. The reason, jadi sebenarnya kalau kita hilangkan why Sandra went to law school itu dia masih mempunyai makna. Jadi the reason is that, alasannya adalah bahwa dia tidak ingin menjadi seorang dokter. Tapi alasan apa gitu ya. Jadi kita tambahkan di sini keterangannya. Itulah kenapa dia disebut sebagai adjective ya, atau kata sifat. Jadi karena dia memberikan keterangan tambahan untuk kata benda yang dia punya. Oke. So itu beberapa contoh ya dari adjective clause. And here are some exercises. What I'd like you to do is please do the exercises regarding on cohesive devices and adjective clauses. Yeah. Post it on chess. And another exercise is please find some examples of cohesive devices and adjective clauses on the last week's article. Okay, and this is the end of the video. I hope you find it exciting and really helpful. And here are some references that you can visit if you want to know more about the topics of today. Yeah, thank you. Bye bye.